Hello everyone and welcome to another Isaac and Friends video. I'm your host Isaac, and today we're actually doing a review video. Something I haven't done in a while. You can see by the Gundams behind me, I used to do a bit of Gundam reviews. We might get back to those. I've been planning on doing more of them. I just don't have space for more Gundams. Or the time or money to do anything. Hopefully that'll change eventually. Just soon. But for right now, we're talking about this guy. The Transformers Armada Legacy Megatron. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was essentially my Megatron. Back in the day with David K voicing him, between him and Beast Wars, and by later Beast Machines, and all kinds of other stuff. This leader of the Decepticons is certainly one to be feared. The original figure, by the way, also had interesting little gimmicks with lights and sounds. This has none of that. And it's actually very disappointing for the price point that you get. How much was he? Well, since I bought him at Wally World, the taxes, $63. Oh boy. Alright, let's take a good look at our $63 toy, shall we? Well, first thing I can definitely say is I'm not a fan of that face sculpt. That is the most deadpan face I've ever seen Megatron pull. Another thing I definitely don't like is, while I do enjoy a little bit of the detail here, why in the hell is he so covered in freaking safety orange? I'm sorry, I don't know very many law enforcements that's going to confuse robot toy for a weapon. Speaking of something interesting, for 63 bucks, that comes off a little too easily. I hope that's a design feature. It better be for that price. God, he looks like a sadder version of Optimus now with those. Better put him back on. If I can remember to put him on here correctly. Oh god, give me a second. Now that I've got the pincer bits back on, let's take a better look at some of his articulation here. The head barely moves. It's a little tight, but it is what it is. It'll do kind of a 360 here, but it is what it is. By the way, that's a rather nice giant screw hole in the back of his skull. Really, Hasbro? Really? A ginormous screw hole. Alright, whatever. As far as his arms are concerned, this flaps up and down. This comes open to put the arm in. The arm here is on a particularly interesting joint, but as you can see, the arm itself here is hollow. There's nothing here in this arm joint. This is the kind of stuff you would see in much, much cheaper, like I would expect out of a $20 toy. This part being hollow, I can understand for the fist to go inside. For transformation, you can also put the barrel of the tank on there. But I would like something a little more solid here, and doesn't seem like it's gonna just pop off if I handle it wrong. The legs, at least, are built pretty solid, except for the internal bits where you transform it. Nice little ratchet joint. It's good. Your toes here pop close, although that's mostly for the transformation than anything else. It does have an interesting little, if I can get it sometime, little hinge-like joint for an ankle pivot. Speaking of tank barrels, the hips do allow for, as Javi would say, a beautiful spread. So what's more iconic on this guy than anything else, if you remember the Armada cartoon like I do? Well, was the idea that his center torso would turn around on its own. But in this toy, you have to wrestle with him like the gods. Oh god, come here. I'll be right back while I kill the toy. Now that I've had to manhandle the toy open, should allow. Now for the turret to come right around like so. For his ultimate turret attack. Now there used to be a little minicon thing on the turret here, but that's kind of gone now. This would originally cause this to flop open, and you could basically spin it around in the 360. Or more specifically, there was a gear that spun it around as part of the gimmick. Now, as you can see, that's, no longer there. This spins, sort of, on a very loose peg that breaks off. And again, lots of loose holes there. For something that Hasbro wants $60-something for, can't say that I'd endorse it for that price. Let me show you something else I spent 60-some bucks for that transforms. Say hello to my Master Grade Gundam Wing and Gundam Eclipse model. As you can see, they're about to, murk Megatron here. But these two guys are both $60 each. And yes, while I still had to, put them together myself, they aren't full of hollow holes. As much as I have some complaints about the replace a finger method. If you haven't seen my reviews on these, my Gundam figures, I definitely encourage you to go ahead and watch them afterwards. One thing I definitely will say is I much prefer articulated hands compared to the replace a finger. But both of these are equal to the same price as good old Megatron, and they both have much better and more valuable detail. And they come with a lot more accessories, including blast packs, guns, extra hands, and they both transform. Now, I'm not doing that right now with these guys. I'd have to find some of their bits, and I think they're somewhere stashed in various Transformer / Gundam figure boxes somewhere on my desk, which is currently covered in electronics. Yeah, definitely need to clean up a little bit from here to there. Needless to say here, Megatron don't rate too high compared to the rest of it. And believe me, while I may not be a fan of replacing fingers to do things like hold weapons, I sure as heck prefer it to that. What is this? A Lego figure? I expect that kind of hand on something like 20, $30, but for something that's 60 some dollars, I expect a lot more out of it than that. Once again, we are also stuck with the holy crap. Oh, by the way, the turret's on a hinge joint. And look how hollow that is. That is a whole lot of hollow for 60 bucks. There we go. Once again, the head pincers kind of stuck. Come on, get in there. There we go. Oh my god, why do you suck so bad? The original toy was way better than this, I guarantee that much. Might as well close them up, too, while we're at it. My Hasbro, how far you have fallen. Well, let's, I guess, turn him into a tank now. First, let's start off with his arms. Flip these up. Move this up. To start with the face, it's literally just open his chest, flip that thing out, and you're done. Close that up. Then you open these side panels. This goes in there. Rest of the arm twists like this, goes in that. Close. And this goes up here. Click it in place. Voila, one arm. Is it this seamless transition? Of course it is the same with the other side. Now for the legs, you have to turn them around. We'll open this flap. Oh. And then you just basically just collapse it in like that. Preferably, of course, without breaking things. Close the feet. And voila, your tank. The tank mode itself is actually not that bad. It's pretty interesting. It rolls pretty freely. Underside's not too kibbly, at least. Although you can definitely tell that's pretty much the backside of his head. Turret does move pretty nicely in this mode, which isn't too bad. But while I recognize that it's supposed to be a kid's toy, you're supposed to buy this for like little Timmy, Whether correcting a collector or just buying it for my kids, I can't say I'd justify spending $60 on this. Hell, I work at Wally World. I work in a retail. The same store I bought this in, we have toys meant for toddlers that not only transform, they light up, they have LED screens, and they're $10. And they have more features and are less hollow and crappy than this. This is a name brand product. I would be embarrassed to see this thing coming out into public purchase as a CEO. There is no reason why this kind of quality, especially for a price point that you're asking for it, should even happen. This is for $60. I'm pretty darn sure you could have thrown in some lights. You could have thrown in a button with voice lines from David Kay and actually had Megatron actually speaking, which is exactly, oddly enough, exactly what they did with the original toy, which was also, to my memory, like 50, 60 bucks. And it could transform by itself. It had sounds, it had noises, it had voice lines from the show. This Megatron is garbage, pretty much. I'd give him like a 4 out of 10, really, because, I mean, he's got pretty decent sculpting here and there, but another really big detractor is this orange garbage that they put on top of him. Like, what is this? I mean, I understand the fact that, the original Megatron was a gun, so they changed him so that he would comply with safety standards, but what law enforcement looks at this and goes, gun, weapon? It's who looks at the world's tiniest, cruddiest tank and says that is something to be afraid of? I can understand rubberizing the points here, but at least as well, make them stick on. This here is so easy to pop off and fall off just for simple handling. It's not funny. This thing pops off so you can put it on the hand, but do you really want to? There's not really a reason to want to play with this toy. Most kids that have never seen this version of Megatron wouldn't care to pester mom and dad for it, and collectors like myself or anyone else who does remember this Megatron would be massively disappointed. I mean, from my understanding, the Starstream figure of the same title got way better treatment than this. And this is Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons. He's supposed to be intimidating. He's supposed to be one of the most frightening characters in the show. The leader of the bad guy. Does this face look menacing to you? It looks more like someone disappointed that they didn't get their coffee made correctly. Like someone's underpaid barista. That doesn't scream terror. That screams like the dude who just might misspell your name on your coffee cup at worst. This has been my review of the Megatron from the Transformers Legacy Armada toy line. Oh, wow. Whoa. Whoa, how the mighty have fallen. To be upstaged by Starscream.